Would you believe me if I told you that I bought this espresso machine new for 65 euros? That sounds ridiculous. People started asking me about this Portuguese made machine called Briel right here a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna buy one and check it out. So that's what we're gonna do in today's video. We're going to take it apart a little bit, see what's all inside there. We're going to pull a pressurized espresso, and then we're going to see if we can also use this in advanced mode. All right, so this is the box that it came in. The model number is B14S. You'll see that it comes with a stainless steel boiler. It's 19 bar, and it's Portuguese made. Also says eco-friendly, and yes it is. When you turn it on, it turns off after exactly 15 minutes according to EU specifications. Now, judging by the dust on the top of the box, I'm guessing that this has been sitting a while. And it does make me wonder, how come I've been doing this for 4 years and have never heard of Briel? Have you guys heard of Briel? Let me know in the comments down below. So what I want to do before we get started is just take this machine apart because it's super duper simple. There's only a couple of things in there. It's got a portafilter. It's very, very extremely cheaply made. This is hollow plastic. Okay, I didn't expect anything more. It's got a pressurized basket. The basket is exactly 53.3 millimeters. So similar to Sage Breville, La Spaziale, and similar to Solis. The portafilter itself is aluminum, and it's got kind of a goofy, like winged dual spout on there. It's got an interesting design for the pressurized portafilter. I took it apart. I've never seen one quite like that before. What I'm a little disappointed about, the execution of the portafilter and other elements on this machine is the poor craftsmanship. There's a couple of dents here in the basket sometimes. I think that's what's causing this to not always seal well, but sometimes it does seal. And also there's still like a lot of flash on here in the mold of the portafilter. So it hasn't been deburred, and that's kind of disappointing. That follows throughout the machine. If we take the machine apart, we will see that as well. It does also have two black hoses. I've never seen black hoses being used before. One is to suck the water up. One is to put the shunted water back down. That comes off the overpressure valve. It's got just two buttons here on the top. One is to engage the pump. One is to engage the heater to go up to steam mode. That's it. On the back, you got a power switch. And as I said, it turns off automatically after 15 minutes, which is nice. And to get in, you don't even need to unscrew anything. There's just a couple of little clips in here, and suddenly, oh my goodness, it's already off. That's what you're working with right there. And I mean, an espresso machine is a simple thing, really. It's just, the job it's doing is simple, right? You just need to pressurize water and heat the water and bring it through to the brew group. That's really it. So you got a pump in here. Here's the overpressure valve here on the side. On the stainless steel boiler, we've got a safety fuse, we've got a couple of thermostats, and we got the heating element. Yeah, let's put it back together and check it out. And before we put it back together, on the inside, it kind of follows suit that you've got some pieces here that are still kind of like flash from the molding that really ought to be kind of deburred and removed, but come on, what are you expecting for $65? I don't even know whoever's selling this, how they're making any kind of profit on it. Alrighty guys, I hope that you are gaining some value from this video, and if so, please do give it a like, and also if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe to the channel. It is the easiest way for you to help out and let YouTube know that this is a good video and should be shown to other people as well. So thank you for that. All right, so let's just plug this in and get started. I'm gonna flip the switch on the back, and it doesn't take long to heat up. It's just like a Delonghi ECP small boiler machine. Just needs a couple minutes. What's nice is that it comes with a heated brew group because it sits right below the boiler. And I believe it's aluminum. It is metal. It gets hot. So that's a good thing. I mean, this machine has potential. So what I would do first is just fill this up with a little bit of pre-ground coffee, make a pressurized extraction, and then afterwards we're going to remove the bottom, put in a different filter basket. That's what we're gonna do in the second part of the video. It's gonna be cool. Stick around for that. But, okay, look at that. It's already ready to go. Let's make ourselves an espresso. So I've tried this out before, and if I remember right, it's just about 12 grams that fits in here. Gotta be careful not to put too much in, or I won't get the portafilter all the way. That's 12 grams. Just gonna kind of even it out a little bit, give it a little tamp, and stick it in the machine. Now, one thing that I've noticed about the machine that I don't really care for is that the shower screen seems to be really, it seems to have a poor distribution. Now with pressurized shots, I don't think that matters all that much because it's just gonna form a soup in here anyway before any of the espresso exits out of the bottom because of the valve inside. But when we're gonna do a traditional non-pressurized extraction, it would be nice if there would be an even flow coming out of the shower screen. Oh, look at that. I can't actually fit a scale in a cup. That's too bad. What are you gonna do? I'll have to measure it afterwards. Oh, very nice. Okay, here we go. Oh, there it comes. It does rumble a little bit on there. I'll call that good. And of course, because it's got no solenoid to cut off the pressure from the brew group, it may drip a little. In this case, it doesn't dribble too much because you do have that valve in the bottom of the basket. So what do we get out? 41 grams. Okay, so that's a little more than a 1-to-3 ratio, but that's what it looks like right there. And all things said, it's not a bad extraction. From a pressurized extraction, you still can get those chocolatey notes. And in this case, a little bit of sweetness too. But as far as flavor profile is concerned, I mean, I do find that pressurized extractions are a bit hollow. They're a bit lacking something. So what we're going to do next is cut the bottom off of the portafilter, and we're going to stick in this non-pressurized basket. Now the reason that I'm going to just cut the bottom off rather than buy an aftermarket part is because, well, this brand is so unknown that nobody makes any products for them. I have not seen any aftermarket products for this machine, which means I'm gonna have to cut it off myself. All right, so the first thing that I did was score it with the caliper, and then obviously I had to cut it off. So I cut it all the way around, and then I have to make a straight down vertical cut here. And I started here, but then I thought, no, I'm just gonna do it closer to the handle. So that worked out pretty good, pop right off, right there. And now it's time to clean it up with the Dremel, make it look a little bit nicer. And then after that, time to clean up the workspace and get the machine ready for testing. There you go. A great success. Alrighty, so after cutting off the bottom here of the portafilter, I have been experimenting quite a bit. Look, there's the bottom right there. And I was expecting to get some real nice, tasty, balanced, and sweet shots. Unfortunately, there seems to be a little bit of a problem with this machine, and that is the water distribution. So upon removing the shower screen, what I found out is that there's actually no shower plate behind it. So water just comes straight down through the middle, through a spring valve, and then it just hits the shower screen right away. And that is the only distribution that you have. So you do see big time donutting going on. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and make a shot anyway. and we'll see what we get. I also had some issues here with the gasket sealing here with the portafilter, so we'll see if we get a nice looking shot or not. And then we're going to also do some milk steaming because this actually got a pretty good steamer on it. Works well with the pan of roll, actually better than I was expecting, but I'm going to take it off for better control. Alrighty, so I got 16 grams of some freshly roasted beans from a local roaster. I'm gonna prepare my puck right away, and let's just see what we get out of it. I am using an IMS basket in here, the one that fits these Sage Breville machines. A 53mm basket fits in this portafilter, which is nice. So that's the basket I'm using. That's our puck right there. Let's just see what we got going on. I'm gonna have to eyeball it too because it's still too little cup clearance to be able to get a scale underneath there. Right. Oops. So what I got out was 34 grams. That's a pretty good ratio for this bean. It's not a bad shot. It's pretty decent. Definitely bittersweet chocolate, notes of dark chocolate in there, but I will say this, it's not as balanced as what I would like for it to be. It's not as smooth. And I do have a little bit of a theory. I kind of think that that has something to do with the puck not being saturated the same because the distribution of the water is not very good. Then again, I am using this machine. I'm kind of abusing it because it was not made for unpressurized baskets. It was designed for pressurized baskets. So therefore, you know, what can you really expect out of it? Now, next thing we're going to do is steam some milk, and it's actually pretty good at that. That is another really funny thing. This switch on the back turns off automatically. Even if you are using it, you don't get impulses from these buttons to any kind of control board to keep it turned on for 15 minutes to extend that timer. So it just turns off. It's really funny. So I'm gonna put it into steam mode. It's not the easiest thing to do to get a good angle on it because it's not an articulating wand. So there's very little movement, and you'll also notice that it just kicked off. You can't wait too long. These little boiler machines, if you wait too long to start steaming and it reaches its temperature, then it stops heating and you have way too little steam power. All right, it's getting pretty hot. Wipe that guy off right away. It does make some weird sounds too. We added 27 grams of water to the milk. I've seen worse for sure. So not too bad of a cappuccino there, at least got a little bit of a design. It does actually make quite silky milk, so I'm impressed with it for that. Be quiet. And considering that it only cost me 65 euros, I mean, that's pretty crazy. And if you just look at, you know, the vintage look of this thing, it looks pretty sweet. This mint green, you know, the rounded edges, the simpleness of it. I think it's actually a pretty cute little machine, and my wife thinks so too. She said, oh, it's a cute little machine. So anyway, pretty interesting little guy. Espresso, despite being a nice little stainless steel boiler, I think really the main thing that's missing is simply a shower distribution plate. That's it. But it's nevertheless fun to experiment with. And anyway, let's see, how does cappuccino taste? That is really creamy milk. It's fresh milk, by the way. It's not ultra highly pasteurized. It's 3.8% fat, so it's really creamy. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching the video. Hope that it was interesting to see something totally different, something out of left field from Portugal, Briel. Check them out, and until next time, I say happy coffee drinking, happy espresso drinking. Bye now.